It is now time to introduce the next starting lineups. First up for the visitors from Wichita West, please welcome to the floor, 5-1 sophomore guard, number 1, Ty Harwell. Leading the way for Kapaun, Carmel, please welcome to the floor, 5-4 junior guard, number 2, Tilly Jones. Next up for West Side, 5-6 sophomore forward, number 5, for the KMC 5-4 senior guard, number 5, Sophia Chetino. Next up for West High, 5-4 junior guard, number 10, Canada Butler. And for the Crusaders, next is a 5'9 junior forward, number 12, Lizzie Roller. Next for the Pioneers, 5'4 junior guard, number 21, Kapaun, Carmel, 5'8 sophomore forward, number 13, Addie Spears. Rounding out first one round for the visitors from Wichita West, the 6'1 senior center, number 32, Addie Houst. And rounding out just starting off for Kapaun, Carmel, 5'7 sophomore forward, number 23, Phoebe Locker. The officials for tonight's game are
Hello and welcome to Kapaun Carmel Catholic High School, home of your Crusaders, who come into tonight 3-3 and will be facing the 0-5 West Pioneers. Exciting matchup here tonight, and joining you here will be Gabriel Breidenbach
and I'm Andrew Guyer. And this City League matchup really has the opportunity to change either Kapaun or West's season. West can change their bad start and potentially get hot leading into the playoffs, and Kapaun can gain a morale boost from a win here tonight.
Exactly right. As Romer is successful in winning the tip-off, even is going to bring it up herself as the Crusaders start things off. But as you kind of mentioned, Andrew, Kapaun coming off a pretty tough loss last time out against Carroll. I mean, at one point they were within 5 and just couldn't get over the hump as their first drive results in nothing. And now we'll see the Pioneers offense for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, Gabe, as you were saying, their last matchup against Bishop Carroll was really just a demoralizing loss. There were a lot of opportunities to score there, and the Crusaders just could not follow through and get the job done. Let's hope that they can get the job done tonight.
And it looks like this one going to go off the hands of Hardwell and out of bounds. And so we'll see Jamino bring it up the court. As now Romer has in the corner. She looks for 3. No good. And now West with it. Heading the other way. That's Butler. However, stolen now by Tilly Jones. And now still 0-0. We'll see Crusaders try to get their first basket of the evening. And Andrew, a crucial part of the Crusader offense so far this season is getting to the charity stripe, and I think they're going to try to do that as much here tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, if they are able to hit from the free throw line tonight, they will be successful. If they, in the past couple of games, they've been given many opportunities, and they try to capitalize on those, and that's where a lot of their points come from.
Exactly right. And after Hardwell picks up her first foul, Kapaun not able to do anything from under their own basket. So here comes West. Butler has it in the corner. She drives the baseline, gets trapped, tries to find her teammate, but can't. That was intended for Cornelius, intercepted by Jamino. Now we get her to the floor. It looks like Maddie Spears is going to be fouled on her way up. And it looks like that will be on number 5, Coleman. Her first personal. And Spears heads to the line for the first time here tonight.
And as we were saying, this is a chance for KMC to make a dent on that scoreboard thus far.
A high arcing shot hits the left iron and bounces out.
The score remains 0-0. See if they can capitalize on this.
Spears taking her time, puts a shot up, and that one rattles in. Score now 1-0. And the Crusaders on the board. Now Coleman dumps over to Hardwell. And it looks like the Pioneers trying to slow things down. Now Hardwell pushing it up, but I think their coach is trying to tell them, hey, you know, don't forget what we learned in practice, kind of set things up. As Hardwell pushed all the way back to the half-court line, now is trying to push it up the court. And after Butler loses it, it looks like Spears in the open court. Spears after the steal goes up, unable to give her on the layup, but Jamino there. And Jamino is blocked. And now after some passing the round, it looks like Jones' shot going to be out of bounds, and now the rebound goes off Jamino's hands. As it looks like the Pioneers will have the ball after the Wichita West timeout.
Gabe, this looks like a much-needed timeout for West. They just looked lost out there. Not starting the game off too right. They're trying to settle down and relax and get into their game plan.
Exactly right. I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier, but winning these games, I mean, West comes into this matchup 0-5, and Kapaun, you know, maybe not the most intimidating as far as their record shows, but they've been a solid team. They've been able to win big games. And so it's going to be important for West to stick to what they came up with in practice and really just hone in on what they do best. As now Kapaun coming with the press. Gets Butler in a trap. And West now struggling to get up the court as it looks like Coleman loses it, but gets it to Hardwell. And now a nice interception by Spears. Now another strip by Spears, ends up out of bounds, but great defense there by the sophomore.
And it looks like Kapaun is putting the pressure on early. They are trying to get as many tips as possible, trying to force steals, and it looks like it hasn't gone their way thus far. West being able to recover and continue with that ball.
It looks like out of timeout, number 24, McCoy Pfister entered the game for Kapaun, and she's done a great job this season, injecting some life into both sides of the ball. But after a jump ball is called, looks like West will have it under their own basket.
Now let's see if West can put some points on the board here.
And Wofford bats that one out of bounds. However, looks like it was going to be last touch by Faust. We'll be heading their way. Now Jamino gets it to Romer. Romer looks around. And now with Faust, the Pioneers are going to have a greater defensive interior presence. And so you see Kapaun here trying to get those entry passes, but with Faust in the middle of the lane there, it's going to be hard for them. And they're going to have to settle for these outside shots. And this one by Sophia Jamino off the mark. And this rebound goes to Hardwell.
Yeah, it looks, Gabe, that Kapaun is trying to establish the outside game. A lot of passing. And as you said, the perimeter looks very tight, and that outside game is going to be more open than usual.
Exactly right. And we'll see if they can convert on that after Hardwell makes that one. That gives Pioneers their first made field goal of the evening. Makes it 3-1. Now Crusaders look to respond. As Fisher has the top of the key, gets to Jamil now inside the Wofford. Wofford going to be fouled on her way up, and so she'll head to the line with an opportunity to tie things up. Faust picks up her first personal. Team foul number 3 for West.
Yeah, West is fouling early, trying to be physical inside. Trying to disrupt the Kapaun inside scoring.
Exactly right. And after the first miss, let's see if Wofford can do something with the second shot. And she does. Cuts the lead to 1. Now Kapaun sticking with the press. But it looks a little bit more relaxed, not really getting to the ball too much, trying to prevent any passing opportunities on the break as Faust loses it. Now Spears pushing up the court, gets it to Romer. Romer takes to the rim and going to be no good but fouled. See who this one's on. Looks like Hardwell will pick up her second personal. And so you got to be thinking the coach might be wanting to take her out sooner rather than later, as she is one of the main players on offense for the Pioneers. But let's see Romer can do. She can hit the first one. Let's see what she does with the second. Ties it all up at 3. Now with a chance to take the lead. Shot up and good.
And Kapaun gaining their first lead of the night. Let's hope that they can ride with their lead and continue to add points on the board.
They'll add 1-0. Other than the
yes,
initial,
other than the initial point.
The initial lead. And now looks like ball ends up out of bounds, but it will remain with West. And Kapaun's press showing signs of success as another pass gets out of bounds, this time by Maddie Spears.
Yeah, and West continues to maybe get a little lucky on these, continuing to get the ball back after these Kapaun pokeaways.
And now Hardwell gets a screen, pulls up from 3. And that time no good, rebounded by Wofford. Now Spears gets to the Pfister. Pfister to the corner, that's Romer. Romer for 3, that is no good. And now Faust fighting for it in the paint, and foul going to be called. Let's see who on. And it's going to be on Phoebe Wofford. That's her first personal and team foul number 1 for Kapaun. But, you know, on that play, you see Faust kind of swinging her elbows around. You got to be careful to not draw an offensive foul.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the foul was called on, but it seems like it went the other way and is fouling Kapaun. And Kapaun was trying to establish on that last possession some opportunities, and it looks like they had them, but they just weren't able to score there.
And this one going to head out of bounds off of Germino, so West will have it. Set up on the near sideline. Inbound goes to Hardwell. Hardwell drives, loses it. That's Pfister on the steal. Pfister to Jamino, but Jamino loses, unable to corral the pass. Now Faust slows it down, gets it over to Hardwell, but that is over her head and out of bounds.
And the turnover total for West just keeps adding up right here. There were just two turnovers right back to back.
And so now Romer gets it over to Pfister. Wofford in the corner with it, swings it back out to Jamino. And now you see Emily Jacobs on your screen enter the game, number 43. She's a great post presence for Kapaun. on both ends of the floor, and a travel going to be called now on what looks to be Wofford. And it looks like Albright going to enter the game for the Pioneers as Faust heads to the bench. Coleman loses it, but she's able to collect herself as a pass intended for what looks like Cornelius is batted out of bounds by Emily Jacobs.
And Kapaun has not been too lucky on these balls out of bounds. Just another one going West way.
It looks like this inbound off the backboard and ends up in Kapaun hands. And Jamino able to convert it on the other end. It gets her first basket of the evening.
And Kapaun is making West pay in transition. Really good pass to set up Jamino for the layup.
Now Hardwell uses some screens here to get into the lane, but now in trouble. Kicks it back out. That is no good. That shot taken by Mo Feathers. Oh, excuse me, that shot taken by Cornelius. Now a turnover at the other end of the court gives West back the ball.
That pass was intended for Lawfer, and it didn't look like they knew what was going on there.
And now Romer, unable to convert on the layup, gets it, shouldn't get to, but Jamino gets the rebound, and she puts it back up for two.
Another good steal for KMC.
And now as Hardwell brings it up for the Pioneers, Faust has re-entered the game for West. And so we'll see what kind of interior presence she brings to the floor. Now Coleman drives, and that's no good. Good out by Wofford. Wofford up to court. Jamil, she's going to have to chase it down. Able to corral it, but not able to get a shot off before the defense catches up with her. Now Jacobs on the inside kicks out to Romer. Romer for three. That is no good. No good after it rims out. And Wofford unable to convert on the putback. She gets her own rebound and kicks it back out to Pfister. Pfister out to Wofford. Wofford from the mid-range. That is good.
And Kapaun capitalizing on those opportunities. Second chance, third chance, just making West pay for not getting those rebounds.
And now Coleman trying to get one more solid possession in before the quarter break. As she drives, tries to get past Romer, but can't. And now over the hands of Hardwell, and that's a backcourt violation. Or sorry, over and back, not backcourt. But regardless, it's the same result. And Kapaun will have it with 27 and change remaining.
West cannot find their stride here tonight. Just too many turnovers early.
And a rush shot by Romer heads off the front iron and ends up in Pioneer hands, excuse me. As Coleman slows things down, trying to get the last shot, presumably. Now Coleman drives, tries to draw a foul, but no whistle. And now Macy Sanders loses it to end the quarter break, but regardless, Crusaders will head into the second quarter up 10-3. And certainly not a bad place to be up 7 entering the second stage of the game.
Yeah, the Crusaders, they didn't look the strongest out there, but they are making West pay on the turnovers. The West turnovers have just been kept adding up. Way too many early in the game thus far, and Kapaun is just scoring when the opportunity presents itself.
I mean, you kind of brought it up earlier, but Kapaun shooting 3 of 14 from the field. I mean, the majority of their points have came from the free throw line, but still not really a great percentage entering into the second quarter. And West, I mean, discussing, maybe not the best showing. They have 12 turnovers already, and I mean,
yeah,
that's something you gotta fix if you want a chance in this game. And they do. I mean, a 7-point lead is not something a team can't overcome, and so we'll see what they decide to do.
Yeah,
but
West
some other people besides Coleman are definitely gonna have to step up in terms of scoring, when she's the only one with the field goal. And of course, that being her deep three-point make. Sorry, didn't mean to suppress you there, Andrew.
No, it's all right.
But, so, I mean, Andrew, we kind of continue to talk about this, but as we end this second quarter, we start with KMC on offense. What are some kind of key factors you see for West if they want to get back in this game?
West needs to cover the three-point. Kapaun is just dealing that ball around, and they're creating opportunities inside like that one just right there.
And that's Maddie Spears. She gets her first field goal of the night. Brings her point total to 3. Now Cornelius working at the crest, guarded by Hawker. As she enters after the break. And it looks like Cornelius will step out of bounds, so it would be KMC ball.
And that was just not great ball handling by West that caused that turnover. I think she stepped out of bounds there. Just not great. Not too many opportunities there.
And now Romer, shot no good. Rebounded by Hawker. Now a Pfister. Pfister tries to walk from 3, and that will be no good as well as Faust gets the rebound. And now West once again trying to slow things down, presumably to set up their offense. Because, I mean, they haven't seemed too organized on offense. Defense, they've shown some scheming and some, organization. But on offense, they break down quite often there as their 14th turnover turns into a foul at the other end, and an and one. Hey, and a very impressive creative shot here. And it all started here. I mean, you see this steal. And as we get to the other end of the court, you see Pfister with a wow. I mean, it is a layup, but it's a creative layup at that, and she'll head to the line, presumably to convert for 3 points, and no good. But Hawker able to get the rebound. Now Pfister with it again. Dumps it inside for Romer. Now back out to Jamino. Spears has the top of the key, finds Hawker in the corner. Hawker takes the baseline, puts up a runner. That is good. And the Crusaders starting to heat up on offense, in no small part to the freshmen, Hawker and Pfister.
And Gabe, it's all in part because of that passing. Without those crisp passes right there, I don't know if that play would have set up.
I don't think it would have either. I mean, it goes to show you, good play design from a great coach, and Coach Graff has to be pretty happy with how the girls have come out here in the second quarter. A little bit of miscue here as Faust will head to the line, and this will be the first trip for West. She'll shoot 2. And seeking their first points after that initial 3-point make by Coleman. And now have to wait at least till the second shot as Wofford and Jones re-enter the game as Hawker and Pfister head back to the bench. Now Faust collects herself, approaches the line, and prepares to make her second. And that gives West 4 and shrinks the Kapaun lead to just 12.
And Gabe, that great job on West being able to capitalize, at least scoring 1 point from that. And that's a big 3 right there.
I mean, you see the bench get a little excited there, and Romer, great job on that make to extend Kapaun's lead. And now Coleman brings it up. And Andrew, what are you kind of seeing from West end of the court? They may not have played great in the first quarter, but certainly have not played any better in the second.
Yeah, they continue to seem lost out there. It is just not a great performance of basketball. It's just, it's a little difficult to watch, Gabe, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. But regardless, looks like Sophia Jamino picks up her first personal foul. That'll be team foul number 3 for KMC as Hardwell tries to walk from 3. That is off the backboard and in. And it's a good shot there by Hardwell. As now on the other end of the court, Faust gets the rebound after The Wofford miss. And another foul going to be called, this time on Wofford. That's her second. Team foul number 4. So now Wofford in a bit of foul trouble as we prepare to cross the 5-minute mark of the second quarter, nearing the end of the first half. And it looks like Lauren Kais checks in for KMC, and now in for the Pioneers is Jennings Smith, number 20.
And Gabe, pretty soon, I don't know if Kapaun will keep their starters in if the game continues to get out of hand.
And that is a proper examination of the current situation. As down by 12, West definitely has to get something going here if they want to stay in this game.
They really need a big point or something here to stop the bleeding.
And now Hardwell tries to make that happen, but she is blocked by Spears, presumably. Now the other end, that's Jamino. Jamino takes it up. Oh, no good. But now Kais puts it back up, and she can't get out of the rebound. Hardwell there. And whistle blown. It looks like Hardwell might have stepped out of bounds. Excuse me, that was Coleman. Coleman stepped out of bounds while touching the ball, so that would give Kapaun back possession.
No matter what, Kapaun seems, on that possession, they seem to just keep getting the ball back. Just by bad ball handling by West and some good rebounds.
Exactly right. Now Tilly Jones gets some time to shoot. That one off the mark as well, and Kais fights Jamino for the rebound, but regardless, it'll be KMC ball, as now Kais has it after the feed from Jones, and it looks like she'll take one too many steps, and travel going to be called. Now Coleman to inbound. It looks like Kapaun coming back with the press.
And there were way too many opportunities on that last possession for KMC not to convert. And it was good on their part for being able to continue the possession alive, but in the end, you just need to score there.
Exactly right. I mean, that's going to have to come from one of your stars, and right now, it looks like Coleman and Hardwell going to be the only ones able to convert. But Tilly Jones missed shot on the other end, but foul going to result, and Faust going to pick up her second. Team foul number 6. That sends Jones to the line for 2 shots.
And this is a great way for KMC to start heating up at the free throw line.
As Jones' first shot, no good. As Romer re-enters the game in favor of Wofford. And now after the second attempt goes in, Kapaun now up by 13. And Pfister will enter the game, but you won't get to see her until after the Wichita West timeout.
Yeah, they're just trying to resettle, maybe score a couple of points before halftime. And that would be crucial if they want to stay in this game.
Right on the nose there. As if West wants to stay in this game, they're going to have to get some kind of momentum going before they head into the locker room. And as you said, I mean, that can come on the offensive end of the floor, but it can also definitely come from the defensive end of the floor. Kapaun's starting to heat up on offense. And as you said, I mean, that's in no small part due to the great passing and great play design. And so if they're able to get in those passing lanes and, occupy the space, that's going to make it a lot harder for Kapaun to get things going on offense and can give the Pioneers a little bit of momentum heading into the halftime break. I always like to bring up that, whenever you are playing good defense, that tends to turn into good offense at the end of the court. And so I think it all starts on the defensive end. But, West with an opportunity right here to make something happen on the press break. So Coleman will inbound, and another turnover ends up in the hands of Pfister. And now Matty Spears with a turnaround jumper. That is no good. And Germino blocked, but it looks like that will be off the hands of Coleman. And so Kapaun will have it under their own basket.
And poor ball control continues to be the story of this game for West. Just another turnover to add to their growing total.
And now Romer unable to convert from three again. And Kais gets the rebound, but now Kais, after the feed from Romer, able to convert in the paint. Gives her first basket.
And that was some good paint presence by Kais, being able to use that as an opportunity to put some points on the board.
And now Harding looking around, Coleman finds Hardwell. Now Hardwell with a step back jumper. That is good. Great moving shot there. And now Romer on the other of the court, able to convert on the layup.
And West and KMC just trading baskets here. West is maybe trying to put something together in the final 2:30 of the second period.
And so now we see Coleman lose it. Pfister with another steal. And now at the other court, that's Romer. Romer going to draw the foul. That's going to be Hardwell, and that'll be her third personal. Team foul number 7, so Kapaun enters the bonus with 2 minutes and change to play in the first half.
And another undisciplined foul by West. And Kapaun using the opportunity to score with the free throws.
And Kapaun now shooting 60% from the field, the free throw line. And we'll see if Romer can improve that percentage, and she does. 7-0 up. As Romer leads the team in scoring with 9 points, the same as West. So anytime a single player is matching the offense of the opposing team, that's always a great night for whoever it may be.
Yeah, or a bad night for the opposing team.
Depending on how you look at it. But Faust able to convert underneath the basket. And now Kapaun's lead cut back to 15. But now Macy Standers able to convert from the low block. And Sanders gets her first basket of the evening.
Yeah, good passing there to set up the points.
Now Sanders playing some hard defense on the other end of the court as Coleman tries to drive. She gets inside, puts up a shot. That is off the backboard, no good. Now full court pass to Romer, ends up in the hands of Hardwell. And now Hardwell looks to try to take it coast to coast. She pulls up from the mid-range, and that is no good. Romer with the rebound. Pushes up the court. Finds Wofford. Wofford on the drive. That layup is good.
Another big pass to set up almost a full court play and points.
And now timeout here going to be called by KMC after the made basket. And that layup from Wofford extends the Kapaun lead to 19.
Yeah, pretty soon this is going to turn into a bloodbath. If West doesn't score just a few points before half.
And so, with 57 and change on the clock, or 58, sorry, West will have it. And now Coleman brings it up the court. Press falls off. Now Sanders has Coleman in the corner. tries to force her into the trap. Coleman picks up her dribble, puts up a shot, and that is good.
And that
Crafty three-point make, but regardless, a make nonetheless. And now Wofford on the other end.
West finding ways to score from the three-point arc, even if it's unconventional.
And Pfister with the heads-up play there, gets the bat and then knocks it off the leg of Cornelius. But now, with just 18 seconds left to go, Kapaun will look to get one more possession. Potentially looking to extend their lead to 20 as Hawker gets it to Wofford. Wofford back to Jones, and Kapaun swinging around the arc, trying to get some kind of penetration. And now Hawker puts up a shot. That is no good from the mid-range. And now Hardwell gets it up to Coleman, but she's unable to get a shot off, and that will end the first half of play. As score 32-14, and we will step aside now for the KMC Pommies. Join us for the second half action in about 15 minutes.
Hello and welcome back to Mount Carmel, where the Crusaders lead 32-14 against West High. Coming out of halftime, hopefully both teams made some adjustments, ready for 2 more quarters.
And we'll get right back into it here as Coleman will inbound for the Pioneers. She gets it into Hardwell. And see what West can do. Trying to slow it down here.
And hopefully they made some changes in the locker room, going back over what they practiced, trying to slow things down, and just going back to their roots.
Exactly right. Now Jones gets a steal in the open court, able to convert the layup, and that extends the lead now to 20.
And Kapaun also may have, in the locker room, talked about the transition game, as we saw right there. Now, it was strong in the first half, but coming out even stronger right here at the beginning of the second.
Exactly right, and turnovers have been a big issue for West, especially in the first half. But 19, it's a scary number, and now at 20, not even a minute and a half into the second half of action.
Yeah, that is not a pretty number for a team trying to win the game.
And Faust unable to convert on her first attempt there.
Yeah, if West wants to get into this, or back into this game, they're going to need to limit those turnovers and become a lot more disciplined with the basketball.
And second one goes through. And Faust shooting 50% on the night. And Romer able to convert from 3.
And whatever they did to change the game plan in the locker room, it seems to be working, as KMC scoring on 2 of their big opportunities thus far.
As now Coleman trying to switch off of Jones. Instead, wants Ryan Loeffler, who steals it away, but now somehow gets back in the hands of Coleman before jump ball is called.
Yeah, that you don't see that every day. What just happened there?
It ends up, a series of interesting events, but regardless, it'd be KMC ball coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, no one really had the ball right there, and both teams gonna talk it over. Hopefully, make some changes. West, maybe their game plan wasn't working too well, and they're gonna fix it.
Hopefully, as after the full timeout, we will see KMC come back out, and hopefully we'll get to see some of the younger talent here tonight. And we have some new faces suiting up for the first time here this season with Ella Rudy, I believe, Cabrini Orr, Duick, along with Ellie Knick. So hopefully we get to see some of the underclassmen who are suited up for the first time actually get some minutes here.
And Gabe, this is the future of Crusader basketball. So let's see if they can make an impact later in this game.
Exactly right. As now it'll be Crusader ball out of the timeout as Pfister, who has just checked into the game, gets it over to Jamino. Now Jamino back to Pfister. Pfister kicks it over to Romer. Romer for 3. That is no good. And now Jamino kicks it over to Loeffler. Loeffler foul on her way up, so she'll head to the line for 2.
And Jamino creating the opportunity for Loeffler there to get a shot off. And Jimeno just continues to be a great leader for this basketball team. Throughout the season, she has helped her team stay in games, come back and win, or even when they're up big, like tonight, she's helping them stay disciplined and continue good ball control.
Exactly right. And, I mean, when you're up big in these games, the biggest thing that benefits you is you get to see some new faces out there, obviously. You also just get to, you know, maybe work on some of the finer details of your offense, finer details of your defense. Make sure everything is running perfectly just as the coach wants it. Because if it's not, I mean, and if, you know, maybe you try out a new defense, you try out new offensive play, and if it doesn't work, then, you know, you give up a few points. But you're still in a comfortable scenario.
And, Gabe, this is the time to do that because when the playoffs are all around, that better be fixed. And so tonight's maybe the perfect night to just work on that offense, perfect the details, and see what's working and what's not.
And a great trap there by the Kapaun defense. Wofford and Jimeno there on it. But this time, unfortunately, going to end up being Pioneers basketball. And now it looks like Albright enters the game for West. Number 2 on your screen. And now Hardwell pulls up from 3. That is good off the backboard.
And Hardway seems to be a big scorer for West. She has contributed to their point total quite a bit from the three-point arc.
Exactly right. Now on the other end, that's Wofford. And now Wofford with 11 points on the night. I mean, she had 7 in the first half and shooting 60% from the field, which is a good night for anyone.
Yeah, whenever you have a number like that, it's a good night.
And it looks like Maddie Spears will check out and Lauren Kais will come on for KMC. But, I mean, of course, Wofford with 11, but not quite leading the team in scoring as that belongs to Lizzie Romer. She has 12 points, shooting 2 of 7 from the three-point arc. So maybe not the best percentage, but still not the worst, and still leading her team in scoring nevertheless. Now, after some nice passing, Jimeno able to score in transition.
And the Crusaders continue to have those crisp passes, and that seems to be the key to their success throughout the season. Just going back to those nice passes to establish good opportunities to score.
And now West working around. And now after Harwell puts up a shot, that is no good. Rebounded by Pfister. And Pfister has had a tremendous night so far here, as while she has only 2 points, she hasn't put up a single foul, 3 steals and 2 assists. So, I mean, she's done a great job, understood her role well, and executed perfectly.
And a big pass right there to add to her totals. That was just impressive to get that ball into the hands of Romer to set up that basket.
And again, Romer coming up, adding to her totals, winning a team with 14 points. And, you know, what's something you really like something you're very impressed by from Kapaun here tonight?
Well, as I've said throughout the night, their passing continues to amaze me. Like those deep passes, setting up opportunities on the transition, just like this one right here. Let's see if they can score from that.
Oh, and a crafty pass nearly ends up in a make, but the transition offense sparked by Romer's block is going to end up nowhere.
Yeah, that transition offense also is just, it's great to see when it works out for KMC.
And it looks like that will be an air ball and end up out of bounds. I thought from here it might have been tipped by Kais, but it looks like that was just, you know, a little lack of power on that shot.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing, Gabe. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just surprising. I mean, you don't typically see the ball come that low to the rim, or that below the rim. But regardless, Macy Sanders checks in, and she comes in just in time to watch. Was he Romer? Knocked that one down. Or sorry, Sadie Sanders. Getting her mixed up with her older sister, but regardless, Sadie Sanders comes into the game, and Wizzy Romer still the one that made that three. Yeah, I apologize to the great Sadie Sanders. She's had a great showing here tonight.
Yeah, she.
And I mean, overall, the underclassmen really getting a sign. There's another basket there by Pfister.
Yeah, the underclassmen have been performing well tonight, getting their number called, and being able to perform when they need to be.
And I mean, overall, great outing for Kapaun so far here. Another timeout taken, this time by West. They'll have 2 remaining. And score now 50-18.
Yeah, this basketball game looks like it is getting out of hand. And if West wants to rein Kapaun's lead back, they're going to need to be scoring each and every possession throughout this quarter and the next.
And now Kapaun up by 32 points. And so it will be a running clock. But, I mean, you know, Andrew, I'm just going to ask you to put yourself in the minds of the West players and the coach. I mean, if you face reality, you never want to say this, but you're not coming back in this basketball game. And so what is the biggest thing you try to work on, or what's the biggest takeaway for the remaining quarter and 2 minutes of this one?
Well, I think that West should just try to just create opportunities to score. They've been successful around the three-point line. So I say that they just try to dribble as less as possible and get that ball to the three-point line.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing rather well from the three-point line. I mean, the majority of their points have either come from beyond the arc or the charity stripe. We're actually what Kapaun can do. Emily Jacobs has it in the post, kicks back out to Romer. Now Romer finds Pfister. Pfister inside back to Jacobs. Now Jacobs back outside. And the Crusaders toss it around a little bit before he gets back inside to Jacobs. And Jacobs puts up a shot. That is good.
Kapaun utilizing that inside paint, creating opportunities. Jacobs finding the best positioning to get a bucket up.
Now Coleman tries to make something happen. And something you notice a lot here in this game is how high Kapaun's pressure comes beyond the three-point line. Foul going to be called. This time on Maddie Spears. Her first personal foul, team foul number 2 for KMC.
Yeah, their press shows the opponent that they are there and that they are not letting anything get past.
And now another foul going to be called as Romer has just headed to the bench in favor of Tilly Jones. Romer presumably retires for the evening.
And Gabe, this is interesting. If I were KMC, I would try to foul as less as possible. With leading by this much, I wouldn't say that they need to play as tight on the ball.
Play a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, they can play a little bit more conservative and not as aggressive.
But regardless, we'll see Faust head to the line. And that's going to be no good. And pass intended for Hawker ends up in the hands of the photographer.
He takes some good pictures for KMC. So we can't let anything happen to him.
As a photographer yourself, what are your thoughts on sports photography?
Well, I think it's really, it looks fun. Like this game, there's been some good moments, and I like to get some photos of those.
Exactly right. And now Spears drives in the open lane, puts up a runner. That one's good. And the score now 54-18.
And it looks like
officials timeout.
There's an injured West player.
And it looks like maybe she took a shot to the nose there. And that is Cornelius.
Yeah, that never feels good. Anything around the nose, that just hurts.
It's pretty sensitive area. Catch an elbow or something. It'd be a little rough.
And with the lead this great, I don't know what West, I don't know what they're feeling right now. If their mentality, what their mentality is, and
now looks like Hardwell was trying to draw a charge there, but she'll be unsuccessful, and that is her 4th personal. And she is one of the leading scorers for Pioneers here tonight. She has 8, and only accompanied by Coleman, who also has 8. And now with the final possession, it looks like Romer's going to put up a 3. That is no good. Now she puts up another one. That one no good. And that will expire the last seconds of the 3rd quarter. And now 54-20 the score entering the final quarter of action. And Andrew, what are your thoughts right now? What are you thinking as a spectator?
I just think that good job on Kapaun for continuing to play this game out. They're playing this to the final buzzer. They're not letting anything get in their way. I think that this is a crucial game to KMC because it boosts their mentality or their morale on the season. This can lead to a hot streak for them. Hopefully a lot of winning in the future.
Wishing for the same thing as Kapaun showing they're going to play to the final buzzer, and West doing the exact same thing. I mean, you kind of talk about, playing conservative. I mean, they're playing with 100% heart out there, and you can't blame them for that. And honestly, you admire them a little bit for that. But regardless, we'll see what the final stages of this game have in store. And it looks like KMC going to have a little bit of a lineup change as we see now number 22, Dunwick, number 4, Millison, number 10, Jesse Kemp, and number 25, Eloise Thorpe enter the game. And of course, Sadie Sanders staying out there.
And as we were saying earlier in the broadcast, Gabe, we knew that this would happen, that the bench would come in and get a little bit of experience as that good shot right there.
As Sadie Sanders makes me regret mistaking her for her sister. But regardless, we'll see what West can do to respond after a mid-ranger from Sanders. And now a block by Jesse Kemp is batted out of bounds. But I believe you might have been continuing with thought there, Andrew, before I quite really interrupted you.
Well, Kapaun having this bench in really brings some more life to the KMC defense. The defense, the bench is playing with their full heart now, as they have not gotten too much time this season.
And now Thorpe unable to do anything with the rebound. And now Millison intended to pass for Jesse Kemp heads into the crowd. And now with just over 6:20 left to go in the game. West still trying to run their offense as best as they can, and it looks like Coleman steps out of bounds.
Crusaders basketball.
And Sanders gets to Millison. Millison to Sanders, back to Millison. And, you know, it's a great opportunity for these girls to run the offense as best as possible.
Yeah, the offense, I mean, it's looking a little shaky, but it makes sense. They haven't gotten a ton of playing time this year, and this is just great for them to experience a game.
Yeah, exactly right. And, you know, the more experience, the more action they'll see as we head into the later stages of the season. And now Coleman gets it over to, looks like, Jennings Smith. And Jennings Smith unable to corral that one and heads out of bounds. And credit Sadie Sanders with the defense.
And Gabe, it looks like West has a few of their starters in. I don't know what they're thinking here, but
I mean, it doesn't hurt. I will say, very surprising that Hardwell, despite having 4 personal fouls, has never exited the game. So it really shows what kind of confidence the coaches have in her. And it looks like Dulac will head to the line for 2 shots. And the first one bounces off the back iron. And Sanders will head to the bench. Or no, excuse me. Ellie Knipp is at the line shooting, and Dulac is now just checked into the game for Kapaun. But after missed free throw by Knipp, we will see Millison inbound for KMC. Now into Thorpe. Thorpe kicks it out to Kemp. Kemp looks around, finds Dulac. Now back to Millison. Millison inside of Thorpe. Thorpe from the lane. That's good. Gives Thorpe her first basket of the evening.
And even with the bench in, KMC still continues to score and put some points onto that growing lead.
Exactly right. And now, an interesting shot by Hardwell goes off the glass. And we'll see what Kapaun can do now. Knipp brings it up. Now inside to Dulac. Dulac back out to Thorpe. Thorpe finds Millison in the mid-range. Mid-range shot, no good. And that's Jennings Smith who gets it to Hardwell. And a carry going to be called. And looks like Brittany Orr checks in for KMC. As Millison looks around, finds Orr. Orr now to Kemp. Kemp from the corner. That is no good. Rebounded by Albright. Back to Coleman. And now Coleman trying to make something happen. Great defense there by Orr.
Yeah, KMC still continuing to be aggressive as the time with about 2 minutes left in the 4th period.
And looks like KMC just going to be charged with a timeout for the substitution as Kemp comes in. And looks like Millison will inbound. Yeah, Kemp heads to the bench, and Ella Rudy checks in. Now Rudy on the inside, loses it. but the ball ends up on the floor, and it'll be a jump ball between Hardwell and looks to be Rudy. So Rudy able to get on the stat sheet here as we head into the final minute and 30 of the game. Now Millicent gets it to Dulac. Dulac, no good from three. Now it looks like Orr able to get it to Rudy, and Rudy able to convert underneath the basket.
KMC puts their lead up to 40 points now. This could be their largest lead of the season, and I think it is in fact their largest lead of the season.
You're exactly right. It's now up by 40. And we now pass the minute threshold. And as Hardwell gathers it, she puts up a three-point shot. That is no good. Rebounded by Knipp. And now an injury on the other end of the floor. It looks like Cabrini Orr able to knock down the layup. But Hardwell in pain on the other end. And as the training staff tends to her, we'll discuss how great of a game she's had. And she's been the heart and soul of this team. And she's now being taken to the bench. But in clear pain there.
Yeah, that's a big loss for West. And if that's a longer injury than a couple games, they could struggle tremendously.
Exactly right. And now looks like Butler will get it over to Coleman. And Coleman presumably to dribble out the clock. Or no. Looks like West going to get one more possession out of this. And Rudy going to be called for the foul.
And time running down. 20 seconds.
And now Butler to inbound. And Coleman looking to go to the buzzer. Drive, spins, puts up a shot. That is good.
And West playing till the game is over.
And now Millicent puts up a shot. That is good.
And
That is from Ellie Knipp to end the
ball
game. And wow, a exclamation point on the night's victory. That brings the lead now to 43 points as the final score being 65-22. 65-22, the final score of the game. And join us in about 20 minutes for the boys' night against West.
It's the Pregame Crusaders. KMC administration, head coach Steve Adams. His assistant coaches and all student athletes are the head coaches and attendants. Many thanks for supporting high school athletics. KMC would like to take this opportunity to welcome some special guests who are here with us tonight. Our audience are coaches from Kapaun, Carmel, Chapel People Memorial, and Mount Carmel Academy. We appreciate our alumni coming back to support our Pregame Crusaders. There are special alumni stickers, so if you see a lot of stickers that might stick with hands or walk around, please join me in welcoming our alumni. Let's take a round of applause. I remind you that this evening's games are sanctioned by the Kansas State High School Athletics Association. In accordance with Nation Rule 52, we encourage your enthusiastic support and encouragement for the student athletes of both teams. I would like to provide the rules of good sportsmanship toward the athletes, cheerleaders, coaches, officials, and with one another. Thank you for your cooperation. At this time, we request that you please stand and remove your hands as we together in reverence and honor to God and our country with the opening prayer and national anthem. To lead us in our prayer is speaking school chaplain Father Curtis Hecker.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the lives of each of these young athletes that you brought here tonight. Lord, we ask you to keep them safe from injury and harm, to protect them as they play this great sport of basketball. Lord, we ask that what they do tonight can truly be done in a spirit of sportsmanship, and that they can give honor and glory to you as they use the gifts and talents that you have entrusted to them. And we ask all of this as we pray in the words that you yourself have taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Father Kapaun, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem. Leading us in the national anthem is Kapaun Mount Carmel music teacher, Michelle Parker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we
KMC 6'3" sophomore guard number 21, Corbin Johnson. Rounding out the starting five for the Charles Pioneers, 6'6" single center number 21, Gavin Phillips. And rounding out your starting line for KMC, 6'5" junior forward number 22, Tegan Charles. The officials for tonight's game are versus Smith and Josh.
Hello and welcome to Cape Mount Carmel, home of your Cape Mount Carmel Crusaders, who tonight come into this matchup 6-0. They'll be going up against the 4-1 West Pioneers. West comes into this game as a formidable foe. Their only loss coming against Bishop Carroll prior to the Christmas break. And Sophia, as we all know, Capen beat Carroll last time out Tuesday night. Pretty outstanding win, 20 points being the difference there. But overall, I mean, it's going to be a good matchup here tonight. Regardless.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, any team with a winning record can't take them lightly. You really can't take any team lightly. All these teams in the City League pretty competitive. They got a lot of athletic guys, well coached. I know West is very well coached. And so, yeah, it's going to be a good game here on this alumni night here at KMC. So we welcome all the alumni who are attending this game and tuning in.
And we'll get right into the action as Capen will win the tip-off. Great job there by Will Anzio, who starts off our starting lineups. Number 0 on your screen. And next up will be number 3, Dominic Shibley. Number 4 is William Thingvall. And number 21 is Corbin Johnson. Number 22 is Tegan Charles.
And for West, the starting lineup, number 2, Rob Bass Jr., number 3, Terrace Hutton, number 5, LaJace Valdez, number 10, Samaj James, and number 21, Gavin Phillips.
And Gavin Phillips, the senior center, definitely going to be the biggest threat to Cape Mount Carmel tonight, and Will Anzio tasked with containing him. And I think he's more than capable of doing so as Tegan Charles opens up tonight's scoring with a nice little reverse layup to give Capen the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and Gavin Phillips, you know, you've already seen him getting physical with Will Anzio, and like you mentioned, that matchup's going to be really, really good and competitive tonight.
And Will Thingvall picks up an early foul. You can get past Phillips there. But as you said, I mean, you see it there again. Phillips is a physical player. He's not afraid of contact. So definitely going to be a trial for Will Anzio here tonight. And now let's see what West can do. A deep three-point shot. That time no good. That coming from James. And now we see Johnson bring it up before for Capen. Charles trying to make something happen, drives, puts one up. That is no good. Anzio, nice rebound. Can't get it back up though. Blocked by Phillips, and now he's out of bounds off of Phillips. And so we'll see Capen inbound underneath their own basket.
And you know the thing about blocks, Gabe, as most of the time you're going to get the ball back. There's no shame in getting blocked. As right now, Capen has another opportunity to score, and they do with Will Anzio on the bucket.
I mean, just as you said there, I mean, the big thing after getting blocked is not to get your head too far down. And Anzio shows his ability to get right back up and able to convert underneath the basket. And now Capen up 4-0, and West yet to score, so definitely trying to get on the board with this possession. As Phillips puts up a shot, that's no good. Great defense there by Anzio. And now at the other end of the floor, that's Charles. Charles puts a shot, that's good. Gives him 4 on the evening, and Capen jumping out to an early lead.
Yeah, quick start for KMC. They're trying to run the ball down the court, get it up quickly, and we've seen that in all their games in the past. You know, they do a great job of looking up and getting it to their teammates.
And Capen so far doing a great job of defending West, but a nice little passing game. Gets a shot open for Valdez, and Valdez able to knock that one down from three-point land. That shrinks the Capen lead to just 3 now. And now inside to Anzio. Anzio finds Johnson on the arc, but now Johnson drives, puts up a shot. That is good. And Capen now 4 straight possessions with a score. And Sophia, I mean, what are you seeing from them so far?
I think they are driving to the paint almost every time, getting to that paint. Any time the ball gets to the paint, either from a pass or dribbling in there, good things happen because it shrinks the defense in. and then you can kick out, move the ball some more, get it back inside. And so Kapaun is able to get those easy buckets by finding the paint.
And now Phillips inside is going to draw the foul. We'll see if they call it a shooting or not. Regardless, it'll be on Tegan Charles, and it will be a shooting foul. So Phillips will head to the line for the first time here tonight. And Phillips looking to cut the lead back to 3. And that first one good. And it looks like Brooks Powers and Max Keller check in for Tegan Charles and Will Thingvall.
And it looks like Charles maybe just a little shaken up from that fall. Saw him holding his back there. Took a hard hit on that foul.
But, back to our earlier point, Phillips is definitely going to be a physical player here tonight, and he shows us there that he can knock down free throws whenever he gets to the charity stripe. So definitely going to be something Kapaun keeps in mind on defense. Now Brooks Powers, nice little dump off to Max Keller, opens up the easy layup, and credit Powers with that assist. And Powers, great source of energy off the bench, and a really creative player off the bench as well. As now Valdez well short of the rim, and it looks like James steps out of bounds as he tries to collect the rebound. So we'll see ball head the other way, back in Kapaun's hands. And after that initial turnover to open things up, Kapaun playing extremely efficient offense. And Corbin Johnson can't quite get his own rebound. Now Hutton heading the other way with it, kicks it out. This time it's James. James no good on the three-point ball. And rebound ends up in the hands of Powers, He brings it up the court for KMC. And a fast pace of play right now, Sophia, as Ancio unable to knock that one down. Now Dominic should be blocking behind. Great hustle by Brooks Powers. Now Maxwell Keller on the arc, puts one up from 3. That is no good. Foul going to be called on Corbin Johnson, it looks like. Maybe a little bit of a frustration foul there.
Yeah, and a lot of things happening on that drive. First off, Kapaun has been doing a great job of getting the rebounds, especially on the defensive end. And like I mentioned earlier, pushing it up the court. But on the offensive end, too, they got their rebounds there, kicked out, tried to get a shot. Didn't go, but, finally West needs to realize they got to get those rebounds if they want to be contenders in this game. That's a huge thing that Kapaun has on them. And West wants to get the rebounds for those second shots and to stop Kapaun from getting those second chances.
And a crafty pass from Phillips opens up the three-point shot, but that is going to be no good. Rebound goes to Ancio. But you're exactly right there, Sophia. Now Nathan Legging, who recently checked into the game, takes one up, but then dumps it off to Brooks Powers. Now inside, that's Ancio. Ancio able to convert an easy layup. That was a great find by Powers. You see Ancio split behind Phillips, and with an easy lane to the basket, that's going to be automatic for him every single time. And now Phillips looks around, kicks it over to Basker Jr. And Basker Jr. tries to get it back into Phillips, but great defense by Powers. And now Keller gets up to Dominic Shibby. Dominic Shibby underneath the basket, still able to convert. And I think Shibby was a little bit worried there. He was a little too far underneath the basket, but able to take a little sidestep and get where he wants to go. And with that basket, Kapaun goes up by 9 as Wichita West takes their first timeout.
And great job by Kapaun there. The main thing, Gabe, I saw from them was just the way they were moving the ball. Very unselfish team, just moving the ball, trying to get it over court. On offense, finding the open man. And they do a great job on the offensive end of reading where the openings are. They do a great job of cutting and then finding that guy and then scoring. So very efficient offense.
Exactly right. And now we'll see West come back onto the court with the same lineup. In addition, you might have noticed number 23, Sanders, checked in. And he's a great source of energy off the bench, great source of offense off the bench. And with the lengthy frame, he also provides a great defensive presence as well. So we'll see what he can do as West on offense out of the timeout. As a dump off to Basker Jr. ends up in the hands of Hutton now on the arc, and now Hutton tries to make something for himself in the mid-range, but that would be no good. Ancio unable to corral it, but then able to get past Phillips. And gets the rebound, and now Kapaun heading their way with it as Powers drives, spins, and ball somehow ends up in the Maxwell Keller's hands. But now on the area of the court after the steal, looks like James unable to convert on the layup. Great defense there by Nathan Waking. And transition defense is often one of the most challenging forms of defense, just because of you're very prone to fouling. And so, Sophia, when you're in that situation where you're chasing someone down in transition, what's kind of going through your mind?
You're right. It is very difficult, especially when you're by yourself trying. But you don't want to give them an easy foul. You don't want to push or anything like that. Really, the main thing you can do is try to beat them to the spot. Hands straight up. Maybe you'll get a tip or something like what had just happened with Wegging. And so that's honestly the situation you're looking for.
And now Hutton in the corner, able to knock down the three. And now the lead back to 9 as Kapaun looks to respond. And Sophia, Kapaun not shooting any threes yet, excluding the one from Maxwell Keller.
Exactly right, Gabe.
Yeah, you see it there again, doing a great job. Doing a great job of penetrating, and now whistle blown, and it looks like Baxter Jr. can be called.
Yeah, with not shooting a lot of threes, usually we see Will Thangvall get hot in the beginning of the game. He's now on the bench. However, they're doing a great job of penetrating to the lane. That's been working well for them, and if they continue doing that, West is giving them that opportunity. They got to keep taking it. It's easy. The shot is easier. A layup is easier than a three, and high percentage.
Exactly right. Now Ancio able to convert underneath the basket on the putback. And we talked about how Phillips now currently out of the game, but we talked about how Ancio was going to have definitely a challenge in the paint here tonight. He's shown that whoever they put up against him, he's going to be able to produce. And West with 8 points, the same as Will Ancio has in this game. So Ancio just absolutely dominating the floor.
Yeah, West is going to have to find an answer for Ancio. He's grabbing all those rebounds, and that's how he's getting those easy buckets. It's just by getting rebounds from his team or his own rebounds. And that's one of the key components of his game that has been there his whole career.
And it looks like Wagging steps out of bounds. A little bit of a miscue there. But with 1.5 seconds left, I don't think it's going to result in much. West definitely with an option to set up a play, maybe an inbound play, try to get one more shot off, but really shouldn't have too much of a impact on the game. But Phillips gets the inbound, puts up a shot, and no good. And that will end the final seconds of the first quarter and score 20-8. And so Sophia entering the second quarter already up by 12 and already with 20 points on the board. Not much you can complain about if you're KMC.
Yeah, I think this is one of the strongest starts I've seen them have. Just as far as doing things right, they're very patient, but still gonna go fast when they can. So they're not rushing anything, not forcing anything, which is really key. And then on defensive end, they're just being solid like they always are. Really aggressive. Not trying to reach or want too much, with those steals, but just staying solid, getting what they're given, and then just turning those into easy layups.
Exactly right. You talked about defense. That's kind of what Coach Hack has built his legacy on. He's always had great passing teams, great offensives that work as a team. But his biggest thing, I believe, in practice. I could be wrong. I've never been coached by him, but from what I can tell, defense is kind of his biggest thing. The reality is, defense is all about effort. Again, you can probably speak to this a little bit more than I can, but it's not like you can. On offense, you can put up 100 shots a day. You can, practice your footwork. You can do all that, but defense, you're not going to get better unless you are out there putting in 100% effort 100% of the time.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Gabe. And effort is huge in any sport, and especially in basketball because of how fast-paced it is. You got to give that 100% effort all the time.
Exactly right. And after the Phillips make, that cuts the Cape lead to 10. As Keller has it, gets it to Powers. Now Powers drives the baseline. Swings it out to Thingvall. Will Thingvall for three. That is good.
Oh.
A deep three made there by Will Thingvall. And that brings it back up to 13 and gives Will Thingvall his first basket of the night. And now Hutton working against Powers. Foul going to be called. And Sophia, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, the refs calling it pretty close here tonight. They're not letting very much physicality impact the game.
Yeah, I mean, Cape in with forward right now, but I don't know. I think these refs are pretty good. As a player who played with them, I thought they were a pretty solid crew.
Yeah, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I wasn't saying that was
no.
bad. I was just. I mean, you know, it depends on the refs. I mean, some want you play more physical, but I mean, you see Cape players at times. I mean, you saw it with Will Thingvall to open things up, and then again with Corbin Johnson on the other end. I mean, there are certain plays. I mean, you get a little physical.
Yeah.
Maybe you bump shoulders with someone or something like that. But the refs have been pretty strict on that, and they've been doing a great job of calling it. And it's been, I think it's been pretty even for both sides.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So West down by 11 now. Still just not really getting a ton of momentum on the offensive end. Gavin Phillips trying to do a lot, provide for his team.
Exactly right. Now Hutton kicks it out to kicks it out to Valdez. Oh, Valdez back to Basker Jr. Basker Jr. from deep three-point range. Wow. Woo. Showing the range there. And Sophia, when you're down by, now just 8, but, when you're down by 11 like they just were, it's pretty, I mean, that's something that can help you out a lot, expanding your offense and forcing the defense really to, expand what they're doing, stretch out the defense, open things up underneath the hoop for Phillips. But overall, great play there by Basker Jr. And on the other end of things, it looks like Will Thingvall able to get his second basket of the night and bump it back up to 10.
Yeah, and West, kind of trying to go quick now, move the ball a little bit. And yeah, you're right. Another foul there.
Yeah, that one a little bit more blatant.
Yeah,
getting tied up underneath the basket.
But West, they need to realize that they're going to get these calls, and so if they keep driving to the basket, keep being physical, trying to score, that's looking good for them.
Yeah, and I mean, I did say I'm going to go back on this a little bit earlier, but I talked about how Basker Jr. taking that three open things up. But one thing you don't want to fall into, you don't want to fall into the mentality you have to get it all back in one shot, or a three is necessary to come back in this game. And there's a little bit of physicality there as the ball ends up in the hands of Dominic Shibway. Now a 3-point from Will Thingvall is no good. Ends up out of bounds off the hands of Dominic Shibway. That's the thing. I mean, the best way to come back in the game is always to get to the free throw line. Now, that might be from drawing fouls, not just from driving the ball, but driving the ball is obviously the best way to draw those fouls. And, I mean, I think the best, evidence of that, I mean, you look back at the national championship last year, NCAA national championship. I mean, you see KU, down by 16 at one point. And, I mean, they didn't strike. I mean, that was the whole reason they got back in the game is, I mean, they stuck to what they knew, and they were able to drive and get to the line as much as possible. And, maybe also some poor play from UNC caused a little bit of a comeback too. But regardless of how it happened, definitely, driving and drawing fouls was definitely a part of it.
Yeah, you're right. And, just chucking up threes is not always the way to go. There's good shooters, and it's good to shoot threes when, you reverse the ball a few times, get it open. But like you're saying, that drive, really crucial.
And exactly right. And after that, made a layup from Ancio last time up to 4, lead back up to 10. And now Capen with a chance to expand that, but no, travel going to be called. And Johnson was pretty confident there. He kept his pivot foot down. But regardless, it'll be West basketball.
Yeah, and so one thing about West, they're playing. This quarter has been even. They were down by a little bit at the end of the first quarter, but they're staying in it. They're not letting Capen extend that lead, and I think that's what they can hope for right now, and then slowly chip away.
Now Bastard Jr. facing some heavy defense, gets it over to Hutton. Hutton looks around, drives, nice little move, but it's going to end up in a travel. When I heard the whistle, I was fully expecting a foul, but now travel the call.
Yeah.
And regardless, it'll be KMC ball. Sophia, I mean, we're seeing both teams kind of get into a deadlock here almost, as Johnson misses and whistle blown. And looks like foul going to be called on Johnson. That's going to be his second, team foul number 6. But I mean, you know, not as much scoring as we saw in the first period. I mean, West with a little bit more. But regardless, I mean, there's not a lot of scoring, as much scoring, I should say. And, you know, whenever there is scoring, the other team is right there to respond. And so
exactly.
I think we're kind of seeing these teams settle in to more of a deadlock. But, I mean, I hate to say this, Sophia, but it might come down to how that first quarter went as far as how this game is decided. I mean, Kapaun able to jump out to, as we said, a 12-point lead in the first quarter. And while West is playing great now, a 12-point lead is a almost insurmountable task for some teams.
Yes.
And so it's going to be hard when you give that team that large of a head start.
Yeah, and especially a team like Kapaun who has as solid a defense as they do. Yeah, you're exactly right. It is very tough. And that's the thing about, you know, any sport, but especially, you know, basketball and just in the game is you never know how it's going to go, and you always got to be prepared in the beginning of the game to come out strong.
Right.
But the beauty of it is, you know, there is more than just one quarter, so West does have a chance. But like we were saying, sometimes it's hard to come back from that deficit.
And now Will Thinkball with a chance to put it back up to 12, and he does. Has score now 29-17. And Will Thinkball with 7 points, second in the team in scoring, and only trailing Antia, who has 10 points. We're not even through the first half of play. And now Phillips able to get some space, puts up a 3, but that's no good. And now Dominic Shibley brings it up. He drives, spins, loses it, but able to get it to Keller. Now let's see what Kapaun can do. And now Maxwell Keller for 3. That is no good. Rebound goes to Basker Jr. But Sophia, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Kapaun is sped up a little bit here. And it looks like they're not as efficient on offense as they were in the first quarter.
Yeah, I agree. You know, on the last position, I just kind of noticed they kind of got clogged down low there. Clear there,
You know,
and with Antu
Antu
score, but
score nonetheless. But
yeah, they got to make sure, you know, they leave that paint wide open for drives, and then for Antu to let him do his work as he's dominating this game.
as you said, I mean, he's dominating. I mean, even in those clog situations, he's been able to produce. I mean, you can call him a plumber with how he's been able to produce in clog situations. But regardless, this is a turnover from Will Thinkball, and Basker Jr. will bring it up for West. And looks like Valdez able to keep his pivot foot there. And even Shibley, his defender, was saying that might have been a travel, but great job there keeping his pivot foot down. And in a similar situation, but this time picked off by Will Thinkball. Now Thinkball at the other end, and foul called out. I don't know what that
That
exactly
was on Sanders.
That's an interesting block attempt.
Yeah, Sanders the one totally falling down there. But good job by Thinkball, you know, dribbling up the court, trying to get to the basket, and now he gets to shoot some free throws.
And first one, no good. And you see the foul differential as well. I mean, West with 3 and Kapaun with 6. I mean, not a huge gap, but as Thinkball knocks down the second free throw. I mean, that does have, those are very different situations. I mean, one more foul for Kapaun, they put West into the bonus. I mean, West with some fouls to play with as we enter the final minute and a half of the first half. And now James from the arc. That is good. And now only down by 12. And Sophia, I mean, we talked about how West entered this corner down by 12, and now having to make a three just to get back to that point. And so if they're going to try to come back in this game, something's going to happen.
Minute like 27, 26 left, and so obviously West calling a timeout, trying to regroup. Sure, in the strategy, a lot can happen in a minute and a half in the end of a quarter, and so West does have an opportunity to get some stops, play some good offense, and get some shots, ideally make them. And I'm sure that's exactly what their coach is telling them right now. But they're going to have to be aggressive and, play their butts off these next, this next minute and a half, because Kapaun isn't going to give up that easy. They're just not going to hand it to them as we near the end of the half. And so, Coach Eck getting his team ready for finishing off this quarter.
Exactly right. I mean, Sophia, if you're Kapaun Carmel, I mean, the biggest thing is making sure you're scoring. You're doing with your offensive drives efficiently and scoring efficiently. We saw him do a great job of that in the first quarter. I mean, 20 points in the first quarter that's a great quarter, but to open things up with that is absolutely fantastic. And so definitely only with 12 last quarter. I mean, again, only with 12, that's still a decent quarter. But, maybe trying to get back to that efficient scoring.
And you notice West now in like a 2-3, shifting a little bit, but mostly a 2-3 structure.
And now Will Thingvall able to score off the Ancio assist, And you see Phillips out on the arc on that 2-3. I mean, you might expect him at least to be in the post, if not in the center of the paint. But
that is interesting, especially having Ancio down in the block. That strategy there.
But now ball comes loose and late foul going to be called. And that'll be Will Thingvall's second.
And 1-1.
Yeah, we'll be 1-1. And now Brooks Powers comes to the game as Will Thingvall in a bit of foul trouble early. But Brooks Powers himself has 2 fouls as well. So you got to be thinking, I mean, we're at the end of the first half here, but still something to be aware of.
Yeah, and, luckily, Coach Eck, he has a lot of depth on his bench. But, that is something, you're right, to be aware of how many fouls.
It's still interesting to me that West does not choose to have any potential rebounders on free throws.
They must be that confident.
Maybe they shouldn't be. Regardless, he goes 1 of 1, not a horrible trip. But regardless, Kapaun now up by, I believe, 13. As Brooks Powers able to convert and make that 15.
And Kapaun easily finding that slip on that baseline right there. Done that last 2 possessions. And, West, it's easy in a zone to totally lose players behind you.
And now it looks like Valdez is going to get the last shot here. No, now it's Phillips. Phillips with only a second left, unable to get that shot off. And referee does signal that is no good. And that will leave the score at 36-21. Kapaun enters the locker room up 15. And we will join you in about 20 minutes for the second half of action. Hello and welcome back to Cape Mount Carmel for the second half of action in the Cape Mount Carmel versus West High matchup. And so here we go with Kapaun starting out on offense, and right out of the gate, James with a steal and able to convert on the other end. And that shows you, Sophia, I mean, West is not going down without a fight here, cutting the lead now to 13.
Yeah, they are a very competitive team. Just before break, I saw them play Valley Center as they were a game before us, before we played Manhattan. And, yeah, they will fight down to the wire, very aggressive, will continue to play fast-paced.
And now you see Antio right back to him. And we saw him dominate in the first half, but now with 14, as we haven't even crossed a minute past in this third quarter. But now a steal by Charles, and Charles pushing the pace. Nice little pump fake, able to convert on the shot. And there you go. Came back up 17 now. And Charles was 6, but, you know, Sophia, going back to Antio, I mean, what's the biggest thing you've noticed from him so far?
I think, you know, his rebounds, as he just got one, but he's great at finishing, you know, from all sorts of different angles. Has great awareness of where he is on the court, and from there he just does a great job of finding the backboard and laying it in softly.
Exactly right. Now James picks up his dribble and gets back out to Baxter Jr. Now Phillips facing some heavy defense, still able to convert, and now Phillips limping a little bit as he heads back down the court.
Yeah, I believe in the first half I saw him, you know, down a little bit. Not sure if it's a knee or an ankle or something, but he's trying to push through the pain and continue playing.
And as Dominic Shibway able to convert from mid-range, we talked about this in the first couple moments of the game, but Phillips is a physical player, and so, you know, an injury like that, whether, you know, maybe it's thigh, maybe it's a pulled muscle somewhere, but regardless, you know, any type of injury is going to have to limit him as far as how physical he can get underneath with Antio. So it's definitely going to be something to take into account when watching Phillips for the rest of the game. And now Valdez kicks it back out to Phillips. Now Phillips drives with authority, but kicks back out to James. Now Hutton. Hutton drives, gets past Johnson, but now off the foot of Hutton and out of bounds.
And great job by Antio there, playing help defense, able to strip that ball away from Hutton. And now it's Crusaders' ball.
And looks like the West coach getting a warning of some sort.
And now Phillips, you know, trying to walk something off. Not sure if it's a thigh or something, as he headed out of the game.
Now Antio able to convert again. And Sophia, Antio has been hot all game, but now with Phillips out of the question, you've got to be thinking that Kapaun is going to definitely try to run their offense through him.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a wise plan by the Crusaders.
The Basker Jr. still trying to lead the team on offense. He has 5 right now. And now here comes Kapaun. Charles, one-on-one, kicks it back to Will Thingvall. Will Thingvall drives, puts up a shot. That is no good. Tipped back in, no. Antio couldn't convert on the tip in, but now Hutton across the court. And it looked like Johnson was close to getting all ball there, but as he came down, Maya scraped the arm. Regardless, it'll be a foul on him. That's his second personal. And we'll see what Hutton can do at the line as Wichita West heads to the line for the first time this half. Currently shooting 75%. And Hutton looking to keep that up.
And now Keller coming in for Charles.
And now Hutton's second shot. Up and off the back iron, and Antio comes down with the rebound. And now Johnson kicks off the Thingvall. Thingvall finds Keller in the corner. Now back to Dominic Shibway. Dominic Shibway inside to Antio. Antio working and scores again. Ancio now with 18 points and no fouls. I mean, that shows you, I mean, it might not to show you the whole picture, but if he's able to have 18 points on one end and be a post presence with no fouls, I mean, Sophia, I mean, that's got to show you something.
Yeah. I mean, he's just done a great job this entire game, and it's just the third quarter.
Exactly right. And Kapaun really pulling away now as Johnson extends the lead now to 20 after the assist from Will Thingvall. Now Basker Jr. puts that one up. That's no good. Had a little bit of an opportunity there, mismatch against Ancio. He tried to convert from three, but couldn't quite make it. And now Dominic Shibby, after a nice first step, finds Corbin Johnson. Johnson unable to hit from three, but pushing it up the court. That's Basker Jr. once again.
And yeah, Kapaun now extending the lead to 20. As we saw in the second quarter, West doing a good job of maintaining the deficit of what they had around 12 points. But now down by 20, they're really going to have to get things going if they want to, try to claw back into this game.
And Sophia, we haven't seen too many games so far here this season that Kapaun has played their starters 100% of the game, or at least a good majority of it. As now Corbin Johnson on the rebound puts one back up, and that one rolls out. Another rebound. That one goes in. And now Will Thingvall with 12 points. But regardless, back to what I was saying, Sophia, I mean, the three games in particular, including this one, that I can think of are after a made three from Hutton.
Now timeout by West.
That cuts the lead to 19, but as I was saying, of course the South game comes to mind. Now that was Ancio's first game back from his ankle injury, so, he was a little rusty. He even admits it himself. But regardless, they still came away with the win. And, the other one that comes into mind is Carroll last Tuesday. Kapaun, I mean, up until that point, I could have been wrong, but I don't believe Carroll had lost.
I think you're right.
And or at least they come in with a strong record.
Yeah, pretty strong record.
If not undefeated. Regardless, they were a strong team, and Kapaun was able to come in there, and they performed excellent. I mean, they were great. And they came out of the gates. They fell behind a little bit in the first quarter, but midway through the first quarter and on through the rest of the game, Kapaun was dominant. And they came away with a 20-point win, as we mentioned, to open things up. And you see it here again. The starters getting the majority of the minutes, and it Kapaun up 19. And we're not even into the fourth quarter yet. And so I mean, I think that just shows that when playoff time comes around, or even when the mid-season tournament comes around, Kapaun's going to be a formidable opponent for teams.
Yeah, I mean, they just continue to grow each and every game, getting better and better. And the great thing about their team is, how diverse they are and how many key players they have. Everyone is capable of doing so many things, and you never know who's going to be on, who's going to be off. But the great thing is there's a lot of them. And so if, let's say Ancio is off or something like that, or Will Thingvall, there's so many other players that are capable of doing some great things.
And Ancio able to get his own rebound, and this time we fouled. Let's see if the referee keeps it on the ground or sends him to the line. And he will, as Ancio heads to the line for the first time here tonight. But wow, I mean, Ancio really working underneath the rim here in the third quarter. And we already talked about it, but Phillips back onto the floor, and Ancio still producing in the paint. First one is good. Gives him 19, and he'll look for 20 on this shot, and will also look to extend the Kapaun to lead to 20. And Corbin Johnson heads off the floor as Brooks Powers checks in. And we've already seen Powers in this game be a big contributor on offense. But, Sophia, I mean, on defense, all over the floor, he's been a great player tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Powers, super aggressive, has a ton of energy. Great player to come off the bench because he kind of gives the team a little bit of a spark on both ends.
And Valdez able to convert on that 3 after the Anzio missed free throw. And that brings them within 16. I'm sorry, I just wanted to add that quick.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, 17. 17, my bad. But back to what you said, Sophia.
Yeah, so just saying, like, Powers, great player, very aggressive. Anzio now with his 21st point of the night. But, yeah, great player to be on the court. He's going to work 100% as hard as he can, play aggressive defense, and, you know, you never know. He's able to shoot the 3, drive in, get easy layups.
And Brooks Powers picks up his 3rd personal foul here. And so we just got done talking about how big of a contributor he is off the bench, but he might have to head back if he gets into too much foul trouble. Excuse me. But that's going to keep him in for now, and shows the confidence he has in him. And now Nathan Thingvall breaks away, puts it up a layup. That's no good, but now the putback is good. But actually, the putback is going to be wiped away as instead Nathan Thingvall heads to the line for 2 shots.
Yeah, and Nathan Thingvall, a fan favorite for the student section.
Exactly right. I mean, great overall kid. Big contributor on the football field as well. As now Thingvall unable to convert on the first free throw. And second one, no good as well. And now Maxwell Keller takes a hard hit and is slow to get up. And is seemingly holding his chest. You know, I might have thought that was his hand or shoulder even initially, but now he comes up holding that chest and he seems to be fine. It's still a very hard hit.
It might have been the funny bone. That's definitely happened to me. I know that sounds crazy, but the whole, like, hand vibrates and, like, can get numb. So he definitely either hit, you know, an elbow or a shoulder or something that shook his entire arm up.
Yeah, he seems to be just fine now, but that was a hard hit delivered by Phillips. And now Nathan Thingvall picks up his first personal on the other end of the floor. As West looks to reset and James surveys. And now it looks like Valdez gets rejected at the rim. And now a nice little catch and shoot by Sanders off the inbound. And it brings the Cape in the lead to just 17 now. And now great defense by James. Forces Powers back to the half-court line. Now Powers really struggling to get inside, but does. Nice little dump-off, ends nowhere. Intended for Rocco Keller, but batted out of bounds instead by James. And now with 9.4 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Capen looking to get one more possession. They'll start with Brooks Powers on the inbound. And now Powers. Nice little crossover. Can't get the shot off, but now puts one up. No good. But Capen will head into the fourth quarter up 53-36. And so, Sophia, you never want to count a team out, but not looking too good for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and Coach Eck checking his – it looks like he's checking his starters back in. And so, yeah, Coach Eck, he's never just going to, give it to a team or anything like that. He's going to let his team continue to play hard, continue to extend the lead, up by 17 now. But, yeah, Crusaders going to continue to run the ball down the court. That's where they have the success. Look inside to Anzio with 21 points and continue to get it to him, and they'll be in good shape.
And Anzio just tremendous talent for KMC, not only on the basketball court, but, of course, heading to K-State next year to play football. And Sophia just an absolutely outstanding talent.
Yeah.
And a great overall person. I mean, I've known him since we were in kindergarten and even preschool. I mean, all my life he's been one of the people I've looked up to the most. Even though he's just one of my peers. We're the same age, but he is just he's a very, very honorable guy, very respectful guy, and great character. And so I'm very excited to see what he can do, not only for the rest of this basketball season, but what he can do next year at the collegiate level. And so now Basker Jr. takes one to the rim, and no foul called as the ball hits the underside of the backboard and now ends up in the hands of Kapaun. Now Ancio able to convert yet again, gives him 23 on the evening.
You know, I'm starting to wonder what Ancio's career high is.
I believe he's approaching it. If I'm mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I believe it's somewhere near 25.
So he's pretty close.
It's either 24 or 25. But we'll see. Oh, that was I think Dominic Shibby might have tried to get to go out of bounds off the foot. But anyway, it ends up back in his hands. And now a shot rims out from Will Thingvall.
And, you know, West, they're still trying to get things going. They just, lost the momentum last quarter. It's hard, like we said, against a team like Kapaun. And let's see if they get one to go there. And they do, and that was James with the three.
And Sophia, we talked about this earlier, how you don't want to, just immediately turn to the, three-point shot to get you back into games. But the three-point shot has been one of the most efficient for the Pioneers here tonight. So that might be, what they turn to in the final stages of this game.
Yeah, I mean, it might have to be, especially with, limited time already in the fourth quarter. That would be a good strategy, and they've been doing pretty good from the three-point line. And, it has been working very well for them.
So, yeah. I mean, there is a certain point when you get down in a game that you start, just saying your prayers and chucking up shots. But, you don't want to turn to that too fast, but I think it might be time that they start trying things out.
Yeah, exactly. And then Coach Eck taking a timeout there. He's trying to regroup his team. Just, let him know he's still got, 6 minutes, 40 seconds to play. Got to keep up the intensity.
And so now Kapaun will have the ball out of the timeout. And now Maxwell Keller has it on a three-point shot, thinks about it, but doesn't take it. And now he drives instead, and he'll draw a foul. And that's Hutton on the ground. He's able to get up, but he does get his first personal. Team foul number 3 for West.
Yeah, and interesting there. Usually you expect Keller to shoot that. He had enough space, plenty open, but as we've seen this entire game, getting to the paint has been working really well for them. And so not able to convert on that free throw. But, yeah, still really good for him to drive in there.
And unable to convert on that first free throw. We'll see what he can do with his second. And no on that as well. And now Will Thingvall able to convert on that one. And now extra lead back up to 19. And, they've flirted with it a couple of times. They've even reached the 20-point mark. But West really trying to prevent Kapaun from going up 20.
And you got to give it to them to keep fighting. A lot of teams would just fold at this point. But, yeah, they are keep fighting.
Now Ancio going to work. Gets his pass deflected, but now Will Thingvall able to collect it. Out to Corbin Johnson. A lethal from 3 and able to hit it. And action going to be stopped here as it looks like the net caught on the rim. And Ancio able to fix that problem with pretty easily. Don't even know if he needed to jump on that one.
Gabe, I don't have to jump. If that ever happens in a game.
You just levitate? Or your wingspan is just 7
yeah,
whatever.
It's just easy
crazy
for me. Easy to get up there, pull down the net.
Easy to dunk.
Yeah, all of it.
What can Sophia Jamil not do? And wow, Phillips with the careening block, and Will Thingvall with a block of his own. Not quite as, moving, but still a block nonetheless. And, Sophia, that would really sting. I mean, you make such a great defensive play like that, but that's, in the shadow of, an even better one.
Yeah. That's.
But regardless, Will Thingvall, we keep talking about Will Antio, but the other Will on the floor having a phenomenal game as well. He's been dishing out assists all night. A couple really pretty ones, I might add. And then, of course, with 15 points on the evening as well.
Yeah, Will Thingvall, one of those guys that it isn't really obvious that he's making an impact on the play. What I mean here is, like, with Ansu, you see him get the ball down low, score an easy layup, see those points compile. But with Thingvall, like you were saying, he's great at finding his open guys, getting those assists, just being a leader on the court as point guard. And then also, with 15 points, he does find ways to score.
And it looks like Keller going to pick up his first. And I think a few Kapaun fans might have been worried about that, as Powers was in the vicinity, and he, of course, already has 3. And so could have potentially picked up his 4th. But regardless, Basker Jr. at the line here for West. First shot, no good.
And now Shibley heading to the bench for the Crusaders.
And I presume that he will probably retire for the evening. He had a great showing and showed that his ability to create plays for himself in the mid-range. And after that made shot, Kapaun up by 18. Now Will Thingvall dumps off to Will Antio. Now Brooks Powers spins, drives, and a nifty little pass is not going to get a basket, but the rebound by Will Thingvall and the putback by Will Thingvall will get the Crusaders 2 points and a 20-point lead. And now Will Thingvall with the rebound, dumps off to Max Keller. Maxwell Keller, layup is good.
Oh, there he goes.
Maybe didn't get the ball quite early enough to go up for the dunk. You kind of started to hear the student section get a little excited. And Corbin Johnson picks up his 3rd personal. And Will Thingvall heads to the bench in favor of Nathan Waking.
And, now Kapaun with the 22-point lead. So finally over that 20-point mark, however.
Right back to the 20-point mark after the Basker mid-range shot. And now Johnson playing with authority gets at the Will. Now Maxwell Keller. And Keller able to convert from 3. I mean, it looks like Ancio might have even touched that, but still ends up in the hands of Keller for the 3. And great block there by Nathan Waking. Now Keller again, layup, no good. Tipped by Ancio, but now in the hands of Phillips. Now Hutton has it. Hutton driving with authority. Blocked by Powers, but no. Foul going to be called. Wow.
Man,
that would have been.
You could see Powers setting up, ready for that block. Unfortunately, the foul is called, but
I think he might have got him on the body there with the arm, but wow. I mean, still, regardless of getting the body or not, that is still an impressive block nonetheless. He definitely got his hand on the ball. But now Hutton able to convert on the first free throw. And see what he can do with the second. And that does give Powers 4. But it looks like Eck going to keep him in the ballgame. Again, we talked about this earlier. It shows you the confidence Eck has in him. After the Hutton missed free throw, that means West currently shooting 60% on the evening.
Still better than Kapaun, though, as they are at a 40%. Something we've talked about, noticed all season. The Crusaders just struggling with their free throw percentage. Luckily, though, most of their games, they have pretty big leads, and so not really needing those free throws. But, as I always like to say, you never know later in the season when you're going to need to make those.
Now Keller again open for 3. That is good. Man, Keller now with 10 points on the night. And Sophia, 14 points for Keller last time out against Carroll, and he's really heating up as we enter the midway point of the season. And now the student section getting quite excited after the Corbin Johnson make, but I don't think that's quite what they're excited for, Sophia, as after the timeout, I believe Paul Bloomer, also known by his nickname Big Bird, will enter the game alongside Rocco Keller and Nathan Dingvall. And so, Sophia, what are your thoughts on, Paul Big Bird Bloomer?
Hence the name. He's got some big size, that's for sure. And yeah, he's a great guy. Everybody loves him. Great to be around. Son of our principal, Chris Bloomer. And, with that size, he can do some good things on the court. Always works hard. I had weights with him last semester. Hard worker, funny guy, and so great to see him out there on the court.
And now, see what West can do. As looks like Valdez able to convert on that layup. And here comes Kapaun. Johnson working around, gets out to Rocco Keller. Rocco Keller inside to Bloomer, and Bloomer kicks it back out to Nathan Dingvall. Nathan Dingvall for 3. That is good. And wow, Blaze is getting electric. As James misses the shot, rebound goes to Nathan Wagang. Nathan Wagang gets it to Nathan Dingvall. Nathan Dingvall goes up for the dunk, and able to roll it in.
Just lays it in there.
Felt a little bad. He felt a little bad.
Yeah.
For the massive lead, and now looks like Bloomer able to get the rebound. And now Nathan Dingvall feeling himself, unable to convert on a 3-point shot. Now Basker Jr. drives. Great defense by Wagang. And now Sanders able to get the rebound. Now West kicks it around. James has it on the wing. Now inside, that's Bislow. And a shot for Basker Jr. falls. Deep 3. And now Johnson. Oh, that is good. Now Johnson has 8 on the evening.
And, Kapaun on defense still being aggressive. Coach Eck expects nothing less from his players. And Johnson trying to take a charge there, and that will be called for a block.
And Johnson, pleading with the ref there. And, watching from home, watching from afar, you might be thinking, what is he saying to the ref? Don't want to say too much, but, I know when I played, and I guarantee you probably do it too. In that scenario, when you're intentionally trying to draw a foul, and you don't get it, you want to know why, and you want to know what you can do better in the future.
Exactly, that's exactly right.
There are refs out there. especially, the better ones, I would say. Not to say that one isn't a good ref. I don't know what he said. But, I remember when I played, the better refs, when you asked them, hey, what do I need to do to draw a charge, they would tell you what you needed to do.
Yeah, that's part of it. If you're a good student of the game, player of the game, you want to ask the ref for that.
Oh, Paul puts it in shot. No. But Chase DuPont and Kyle Cater enter the game for the final seconds. And with that, Cape Carmel comes away with the near 30-point win. Final score 82-53, so the final deficit going to be 29. And Cape Carmel heads in to their bye game up 7-0. Up 7-0.
Yeah.
West, of course, will fall to 4-2, if I can do my math correctly. Regardless, great outing for the Cape Carmel boys. And just, some great basketball here on the floor tonight, especially great performance by Will Ancio. Of course, ending the night with 23 points. And, of course, Will Thingvall, great night of his own. Had 15, had numerous assists, and just overall great night for the Cape Crusaders. And we will see you back not next Tuesday, but and not next Friday, but the Tuesday, I believe it's the 17th.
Yeah.
is
Heights.
our next home.
Versus Heights.
Well, 17th is our next home game, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it Heights?
I believe it is Heights.
That would be
I believe
certainly
so.
the game to tune into, as Heights is the reigning 6A state champion. So make sure to tune into that. But until then, I've been Gabriel Breitenbach.
And I'm Sophie Jamino. Have a great night.